Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing awesome and great. So, as the title says, this is a small tutorial about how to, set up basic Vellum snow and how to get the shader and and the look right for snow, basically. So I have prepped the file already. I'm not gonna go, like step by step on how to do it because I have done it already. That's gonna save you some time while you're gonna do your own R&Ds. So here we go. All right, so basic is we're gonna go ahead and start with rubber toy. You can get the pig head if you want. Okay, pretty simple. There's nothing fancy going on. Let me just make this network a bit bigger. So then transform. If you just like want to set up your settings right, I think this is the best way to do it. There are other ways to do it, of course. So let's follow this one. So rubber toy transform. Then I gotta like constraints grain. So this will define, like how much of density, how much packed your snow vellum particles will be. Okay, so fairly simple. It's just like you have your, points from volume, uh, soft that have point separation. Smaller the value, more density it's gonna get uh, for each point. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just assuming that you don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna go for everything one by one. So I'm not gonna turn on jitter. So basically, what happens is if I have a box and I am gonna go and add points from volume. So basically, what happens is if I have this, then if I add this, if I uh, let me just add a lot more resolution. So you can see that, I mean, all these points are like, like laid out like a grid, right? There's no, it's not jittered, okay? So you might have used it. If you haven't, then I don't know. So we do it for like a lot of things. So what happens is that if you're doing it, then if you want to make more randomizations in these points, then you just turn on uh, increase the jitter scale. So that's going to add jitter. So now all these points are randomized, okay? So that's your seed, for jitter. So this is going to work really well, even if you have like a million points, with points from volume or any kind of geometry that you want to fill with points. So the jitter is going to work perfectly because these points are not actually going for simulation, okay? Right, and they don't actually have to create point separation or like collide. Intercollisions are not happening on this thing, so it won't be a problem. But for the vellum stuff, okay, it's a really crazy thing that if you just turn it on jitter scale and you add a value, it's gonna go crazy. Okay, sometimes it's gonna blow up. Okay, you will think that it's working. If you turn on jitter scale, if you have less vellum grains or points, it's fine. And if you have like a million or something, maybe more, then if you turn it on, it will take, like some time to solve it. Okay, so that it doesn't go inside. Because if it goes inside, then as soon as it hit the play button or start the first frame, it's gonna blow up. Because that's what vellums do, right? They separate each other. They collide. So that's why I didn't turn on the jitter scale. It is okay for small simulations, like 10, 15,000 is fine, but for I have like 1.2 million, this is not okay. I tried it, it's gonna blow up. Trust me, it's gonna blow up. So I only added the checkbox for friction, 0.4, because it's snow. They are gonna stick together. I don't want it to go here and there all over the place. So then particle size, the separation, I put 0.03 because I added 0.02, it was too much. So it's your value. Then I added like an ID attribute after I did the constraints because by default I don't think it adds any kind of an ID attribute. I don't think it does, but I don't think it does, so I just added on my own. Then comes to the Vellum solver. I'm using 4 substeps because the points are really small. Then iterations by default is always 100. I added 200. Then smooth iterations is at 30. It's like it's for constraints basically. Okay, if your substeps are low, it will not solve properly. Okay, it might just crash, or it might just won't simulate at all. Okay, so you would need specific substeps. I put 2, it was okay, but 4 was okay for this one. I mean, because the point got smaller, so 4 is gonna do pretty well. Then I have the static threshold a bit in dynamic scale. Then I went to the advanced tab, and this value is 30, was 30. I put it to 10 because some were bouncing up really crazy. So I kind of constrained it to like maximum acceleration to 10. Then we have the velocity threshold. I mean that's a sleeping. Okay. So what happens is if your particles, if your points like stop moving, or at a specific velocity, that is like too small to calculate, or if you think that like I don't want minor movements in points, then you can just enable it. Then here's your threshold. So if the velocity threshold of some point is like less than 0.01, it's gonna stop moving that particle. It will just stop using it for calculations. It's gonna hope that it shouldn't move at all. It's gonna, okay, you know what, you should stop. I'm not calculating you anymore. So then the other option that you have to change is the attraction weight. So the attraction weight is like the clumpiness, okay? This works pretty well if you have, like snow that you want to stick together, I mean, you can actually make this parameter into like a noise ramp, like black and white kind of a thing. Then you can actually import this, like actually put this thing into a point VOP and then add a noise and then make this value into a noise so that you can get clumps of snow that are sticking together and the others, they're not sticking together, So this has already been explained like in a lot of tutorials. So this is for clumpiness. If you put this to 0, it won't clump at all. If you put this to 1, it's gonna clump all over the place. Okay, so because of this clumpiness thing, you have to increase, these values, smooth iterations and the constraint iterations. Then there's no other thing that I have adjusted. I put this to 1 on purpose. Okay, some people don't put it to 1. I put it to 1 on purpose because I wanted something exactly as snow. Okay, so then you have the you can turn this on. That is your ground collision, because I'm using ground as collision. So here we go. Okay, so then as soon as you do a sim, you can adjust your own values. You do a sim. This is what you're gonna get. I'm gonna go to the camera. So there you go. Bloop. There you go. So there you go. So pretty cool. Nothing fancy going on. So you can see that, there are your clumps. You can get more clumps if you want. I'm kind of like okay with this. Just a test sim. So just for the tutorial purpose. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Then, you can see the clumps, right? So this value should be 1, all right? The clump value should be 1. But if you actually go ahead and check right there, I'm going to go to the first frame, then you can see that attraction weight can be adjusted up to 10. Okay, it can be just up to 10. All right, so yeah, you can just go for it. That's why this whole constraints, this whole thing is here for. So you can adjust your own stuff, right? But I'm not using this one. You can choose to use this one, it's fine. So then after this, I cached it out. So here's your cache. But since you see like they're all like so much uniform, it's like it's a grid placement. So I have created this ID attribute before. Now I can use it for for the jitter. And now it's jitter. You can see that this is before, this is after. Pretty much simple jitter. What that is, you wouldn't want to do it too much because it's gonna go crazy. Then I did VDB from particles. I'm not gonna use pyro bake volume because I'm using VRay. Then I packed it. You can choose to pack it or not. It's your choice. It's your call. So then after you're done with this one, let's go to the lighting part. I'm gonna turn on this thing and the ground. So the ground doesn't have any shader. Okay, the snow have a shader. Okay, so the default shading for snow in VRay, I'm saying, is called volume grid shader. This is the shader for for VRay. Okay, this shader is for everything basically, for pyro, everything that has to do with pyro, density or smoke or whatever, fire. So I will just go through the settings. Since this is not fire, so we're not gonna touch these two tabs. It's not for fire. So you have the step percentage and the step shadow step. So these are the quality, parameters. If you increase it, then it's gonna get a bit blocky or a bit artifacting is gonna happen. So these are set to default. These are good settings basically. You wouldn't want to change it. Then the other thing that we are gonna change is right here, which is inside. I have turned off a couple of things in here. That's why it's showing as bold. Well, let's go through these settings now. So by default, it's set to approximate and shadows. This is pretty fast to render. If you want more accuracy, you can turn on ray trace GI only. But I was getting a bit different kind of result with the ray traced option, so I'm not using it. I'm using approximate and shadows. So these things are pretty much simple. There is nothing basically, kind of like going on. You can turn on the volume light cache. This might increase, save you some time, but sometimes it also is really slow. It also changes the look a bit, by the way. So yeah, that's the absorption. Since it's snow, we want it to absorb a bit of light. If you put it to white, it will absorb all the white light, so it's going to be invisible. So then you have the scale. This is like a density. Okay, I will show you the render, by the way. So I'm just going to explain it to you, then I'm going to show you one by one. So since we're using approximate and shadows, we have the option for smoke brightness and this ramp. So if you turn on GI, you don't have the smoke brightness option, and you actually have the color ramp option. So if you want a bit of, like brighter kind of a thingy, you can actually do that. That's your choice. But I'm using the approximate plus shadows because, I was getting a good result. You can do R&Ds on this one. I'll show you the results in both. So then I have adjusted the ramp, but the ramp by default was gray to a bit black, I guess. I changed it. Yeah, it was like this, gray to black. Yeah, here it is. So now, after that, after this thing is done, I added a VRay sun. These are the settings. You can pause the video and you can go ahead and set these settings if you want. Then I have increased the atmospheric contributions to 4. It's for bounces. Then these things are just gonna make the sun a bit yellow. Turbidity is the pollution. Ozone layer is how much light is actually coming in. If this value is 0, it'll get more blue light. If it's more than 0, it's gonna get a bit yellowish. So I don't like yellowish now because I don't want the tone of yellow. Then that's the water vapor. If you set this to 5, it's gonna get a bit of yellowish. I'm just making like a blue color. Okay, then I changed the color mode from filter to direct. So whatever the light is getting, it's gonna cast it directly. And you have a light dome. Light dome, we have dome spherical. I want it invisible. I disabled it in the viewport. Then I added this HDRI. I forgot where I downloaded this from. It's from a free website. So then again, atmospheric contribution 4, and then intensity 6 because it was really dark. Now, to render the VRay thing, what you got to do is you have to go to out context, then you have to drop in a VRay renderer. If you drop in this will get created, and then you add your camera because by default there's no camera. And then I added the ground and the render snow. Then I have checked the bucket. I put the subdivisions down from 24 to 16 for tests. Then I made the bucket size 32. By default, it's 48. There you go. All right, then that's it. Then if I just open up the frame buffer, you can go open the frame buffer from here, show frame buffer, or you can just go from VRay, show frame buffer, VRay. But you have to create this node to see the frame buffer. Right, so let me just go ahead and make these thing render. Yep, here we go. So let's do an IPR. So there you go. There's your first frame. And you can see it's rendering pretty nicely. So I'm gonna move this a bit away right here. Right, so let's just go ahead and go to the VRay MTL and go the builder. Right. So this is the density, the opacity of 10. If I put this to 1, you can see that it has become like a lot more lighter. Snow is not supposed to be like that, I know that, so that's why I put 10. Okay, so then you have the absorption. Okay, so if I set it to fully white, it's gone because it has absorbed all the white light. There's nothing to show you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's gone. It's not even there anymore. It's gone. And if you put it to black, it becomes like this. All right. So actually, he is not absorbing any light. He's reflecting like everything. It's like fully kind of like diffused. I want to see the shape a bit. So I would just put like 0.5 so you can see a bit of shape, from this whole thing. It just got like a lot more smoother, I guess. Yeah, it got like a lot more smoother. But you can actually tweak these settings if you want, and just go for it. So yeah, here we go. It's got okay. I know what's going on. So I have turned on denoiser. That's why it's happening. Yeah. Let me just turn off denoiser. Yep. Turn off denoiser. So if you turn on denoiser, it just smooths out the whole image basically. So I have turned it on. So it was like a lot more smoother. Now we can see that it's not smooth anymore, right? It has a bit of bumps and stuff. Yeah, that was because of denoiser. It's like a face filter from those Instagram videos. Okay, so yeah, let's get back to the material. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, so this one was this one. So no, I think I was changing it, right? Yeah, okay, all right. Let's get to the absorption. Yeah, here's the absorption of black, and here's the absorption a bit of like 0.5. So at 0.5, it will absorb a bit of light, so you can kind of like see, like light going inside of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like fully kind of like solid kind of a surface. That's why it's absorption. If it's absorbing everything, it's invisible. If it's absorbing nothing, it's like fully diffused. But this is snow, it has to absorb a bit of light, right? So that is your render with the approximate shadows. Let's go check out the ray trace. As soon as I change it, here's your ray trace. There you go. You can see that there's a bit of a difference, on this whole image. Let me save this one and let me show you. So I'm going to compare A and B. You can see that there's a huge difference, right? Isn't it? There's a huge difference. Yeah. So this one actually is a lot more bluish, and this one is a bit more like yellowish. But I like the one with approximate, so that's why I kept this one. It's your choice, like whatever you want. But I'm gonna go with this one. So you can see that the render times are like almost same. Okay. Right, so then what you're gonna do is, let me just put this away. Yeah, then you have the light cache. This, you can test it out. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's really fast. Just depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, then here's your color. You can change the color ramp to something that you want. You can make it like, I guess, pink or something, pink cloud. There you go, pink cloud. Yay, do. All right, I don't want pink cloud. I'm just gonna keep this one. I'm gonna go for approximate plus shadows. Okay, so here's a smoke brightness thing. There you go. And see, it's getting a lot brighter. Yeah, so you can kind of like use it to blow up the highlights. It works. What is the one? Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So then rest everything, I think you should keep it as it is. This is mostly for sampling. If this value is higher than 90, it will actually faster, I mean, like fasten up the renders, but it's going to be a problem. I mean, I will just show you this whole comparison with this one. So if I am going to go compare this one, let's do B, and then I'm going to put this to like what, 150. Still solving, come on. You can see it's a lot more noisier. I mean, you can visually see it. It's a lot more noisier, right? That's why. Yep, that's the reason. I mean, it's going to be a bit faster, but it won't actually give you nice results. So you can even faster, I mean, like even make it more faster with 300, but it's going to go crazy with noise. I mean, the whole look changed. Look at this lighting. Yeah, the whole look changed. Okay. Then there's basically nothing left to do. You can just go for the render directly. So there's no changes even in here. So that is how you can, like set up a basic scene and render snow in Vellum and VRay. Hope this has helped. I will share the file as well. I think I can share the file, but you would need VRay for this one. So yeah, I also have tested it out in 3D Light, but I don't have the file for 3D Light. So hope this helps if you're struggling to make a shader, or like, see, Mantra is really slow. We all know that. I mean, so that's why I just thought let's make a tutorial in VRay. Okay, so hope this helps. All right, pretty simple thing to make snow. If you're gonna go for a complex scene, maybe I'm gonna make something that has been made from like a lot of guys online, like Craig walking on snow and hammering it down. I can do that. Yeah, so hope I will make that one soon as well. All right, so hope this helps. I will see you guys soon, and chill out.